return again. This captivity ain't permanent, no. I'm from Jerusalem, hey, we'll return again. This captivity ain't permanent, no. Sitting on an album that'll change my life. Should I?
Salama Family. How y'all doing tonight? Welcome to our channel, Stepping Stones to Home. Happy to see y'all tonight. What's going on all around the world? We're here in Africa, as you already know. It's a beautiful night here, right?
It's nice now. It's been raining pretty much all day, but we're thankful for the rain because Tanzania and like Dar es Salaam and some of the other places, they have been going through a drought, so they haven't had water consistently.
Yeah.
So
don't forget also, we've been dealing with some power issues because they use hydroelectricity here. So with the drought, you have a few days sometimes without power.
Well, it hasn't been a few days
for us,
thankfully. Ours has only been a couple hours, maybe a few hours at a time. I mean, the longest we went
17 hours.
Was 17 hours. But that was like an anomaly. But yeah, other than that, everything is cool over here. Like I say, we're thankful for the rain. We are in the summertime here, so it is hot. So the rain brings some cooler temperatures, when it stays cloudy. But for any of y'all that's from South Florida or no Florida weather, the bad part is after the rain, when the sun comes out, it's hotter than it was before, but we're thankful. We're thankful for the rain.
Yes. So as you guys saw from the title of this video, some key points we're going to touch on tonight. Before you decide where you're going, some things you should be looking into for any country you want to go to, whether it be here on the continent of Africa, if you're going to South America, wherever you might want, the Most High might send you.
Yeah. So we have been flooded lately with emails. A lot of people asking questions about how to relocate to the continent. Apparently, it's a lot of y'all out there that's ready to make that move to the continent. So kudos to all of y'all who's doing it, because it is a wonderful, a beautiful thing. And, it's time for us to come back home, but it's just a few things, a lot of questions that we've been getting from a lot of people. And so we just wanted to talk about a few of those things on here to give y'all a bit of information, some things that you should consider before you relocate to the continent. So one of the things, we've been getting some older people doing some consultations with us, and they're looking for places where they can go. Now, when you get older, you done worked your whole life.
Wait, listen, I'm from South Carolina. We don't say older. Okay. When you get wiser.
Okay.
Right? You get wiser.
Whatever makes you feel better. But when you get wiser, some people don't want to work. And like coming to countries like Tanzania, other countries, it can be a little difficult because they want you to open up a business or they want you to volunteer. Some people are older and they're like, man, I don't work all my life. I'm getting my retirement now and I don't want to work. I'm just ready to enjoy my retirement. And I completely understand, because when I get there, I'm gonna want to just enjoy my retirement also, not have to, go out and be on the grind. So just something that we were saying, if you're older, you should consider wiser. You should consider going to a country where you can just live on, you can have it's kind of like a retirement visa, where you don't have to work, you don't have to start a business. Matter of fact, you can't. Literally, the whole point is you're retired and you're saying that you're not going to look for work in the country. you're not going to start a business in the country. You're not going to try and make money in the country at all. You're literally there to patronize the country with your money. Okay? And there are countries like that out there. One of them being Zambia. Zambia, if you have retirement, or if you can show that you can support yourself with, I believe it's like 2,000 USD per month, you can per person, you can go to Zambia and you can just retire. You don't have to find a job. You don't have to start a business. You don't have to go to school to get a student visa or anything like that. You're literally just there to live. Because people who have money, if you're living there, you're going to spend money in the country, which means it's going to help the country with you spending your dollars there. So Zambia is one of them. Kenya actually has something called an ordinary visa, and I believe it's 2,500 USD for that one. And it's the same thing. You cannot find work. You cannot start a business there. You're literally there just to live in the country. But with Kenya, you have to be over 35. So if you're not over 35, Holy Sana, I'm sorry. You have to find one of the other countries. Mauritius is another country you can go to.
That's an island for all my island people. If you want to go to an island.
Right off the coast of the continent. And also there's Seychelles as well. It's right off the coast of the continent. It's another island. And you can go there if you have your retirement. You can show that you have enough money to take care of yourself, 2,000 USD per person. You can go there and you can just live. Not to mention countries like Mauritius, Seychelles, Namibia, even Kenya, they're more built up, okay? They're more modern. They have more modern cities. If you're looking for more of that modernized U.S. feel, those are some countries right there that have modern amenities. You know, you don't really have to worry about dirt roads if you don't want to ride on the bumpity bump, you know, because most of us out here, we bumpity bumping all the time because most of our roads are not paved unless you're on a main road. So those are some places where you can go and you can just live. Namibia is also one of them. Recently, they opened up a digital nomad visa. So if you can show, once again, that you make money, you're making money somehow, $2,000 per month, you can go to Namibia as well. Namibia has some beautiful cities there. You know, it's a mystery to me. I really want to visit because I'm just baffled at how the ocean can meet the desert and it's dry as can be. But those are some countries that you can consider going to if you are older. You know, if you're older and you don't want to be in a city that's not modern because you're like, I just want to enjoy my life, you might want to consider going to one of those other countries that are built up. I'm 58 years old. Well, if you are retired, you can show it. But however, I'm not sure how that would work for the children. I have not looked into if you have to have the 2,000 USD for each one of the children as well. But I know for adults, you would need to show the 2,000 USD.
Right. So if they are children of a young age, I don't think there's anything that you have to show for them. Because of course they're children, so they're not going to have to show them making money. They should be in school. So I believe you just set them up with school, and then once they're set up with school, then showing that you have the finances to take care of yourself while you're there, if you are retired.
Not to mention, you may be able to just get them a student visa, because if they're in school, you can register them for one of the schools out there, and they can get a visa as a student because they're actually attending school. So that could be another way you go about it, where you wouldn't have to show the income for them, but you can show the income for yourself is by getting them residency through enrolling them in school and having student visas for them.
Right. And please don't get me if I mess up your name here, but Mr. Monabarasi, listen, scrolling at the bottom of the screen is our email, steppingstonestohome@gmail.com. Please shoot me an email, and I will try to find out some more information for you, and I can directly email it back to you, so you'll have that information for you.
Yes. One of the other things I wanted to say, if you are if you're not retired, or even if you're wiser and you want to help out in a country, if you say, well, I want to start a business, or I want to at least partner with someone, or I want to be even being a financial backer for business or something like that, I would suggest, if you're coming to work or start business, that you should go to the country that you desire to go to. Look at their websites, because they all have them. Look at their website. In every country, they list their needs as far as business and infrastructure goes. So go to the country and look at their website. If you're going to start a business, it's going to definitely be easier to get your foot in the door, to start things that the country is saying, we need people to do this in our country. We need people to come and start businesses in these areas. I've looked at several of the country's websites. You literally just type in, what does this country need? And it'll take you right to their website. What businesses are needed in Kenya? What businesses are needed in Tanzania? And I can link some of the websites after this video or whatever, or you can email us and I can shoot you some of the websites where you can actually see the needs of the country. Because if we're coming to these countries to start businesses, it's cool to want to start a restaurant. That seems to be one of the most popular things that people start when they come. But how can we help develop the countries? How can we help the people that are here? It's not just about coming and starting a business so that you can have money. Yes, we want money, but these are brothers and sisters over here, right? So how can we come and actually be of help to them and not just making money? How can we help? So you look at the country, if they need, manufacturing done. Look at the different areas of manufacturing they need. If they need, they're looking in the hospitality and tourism area. Look into starting a tourism company. If they need housing built, look into starting a residential development company. Look at the different areas they need. If they need agriculture, start an agriculture business. What agriculture is missing in the country that they actually are going to other countries outside of Africa to get goods. Look at things like that. We should not be getting grain outside of Africa when Africa has more than enough space to grow its own grain. And we can't say, oh, it's because it grows better in certain weather. Tanzania has like every climate. So you can grow anything here in Tanzania. And it's like that in many of the other countries. The higher you go up in elevation, the cooler it is. So you can grow things that grow in cooler climates. So look at those things like that when you're considering moving to a country. How can you help the country? If you have a particular skill, if you are an engineer, we need engineers desperately here. Because if y'all don't know, we get all of our stuff from China, India, Japan, Germany, and Turkey is where we get pretty much everything from, besides our food. Even a lot of the clothing here, the material that we have, they actually get it from China. Even though it's an African pattern, they get the material from China most of the time. So we need manufacturing companies. We need engineers to actually create machines, create models, create molds. We need things like that here. Then we can create our own thing. We can be self-sufficient. We won't have to spend all the extra money importing things that's so far away. It'll be a lot cheaper for us to develop our own things. Y'all know that's what China did. They started developing their own thing and they became a superpower.
Yeah, back in the 80s, it took them about
30
years to become the powerhouse that they are now.
Yeah, when it comes down to goods, everybody get their stuff from them. America, Africa, Europe, most of the stuff comes from them. So it's the same thing that we can do here. So think about your skills and then look at what is needed in the country. Put the two together and come up with a business, a strategy that you can use to actually help here on the continent.
Yeah, we have to take into consideration, like we were saying recently when we were on with Brother Yacoba, how here there has been a lot of the African Americans are coming to the continent to cause trouble. Now, are there some of our people coming over here doing that? Yes, we're not going to deny it. There are. But we come over here and we don't try to find out what does the country want. So, like my wife was saying, we find out what the country wants. And then we look and say, let's look at these things. Do I have the skills to do these things, to implement these things there? And then if we can implement those things here, then the country is going to start to change their outlook on us and say, well, they're helping us to achieve this. So now we're actually showing them that we want to add value to the country, because right now they allow other people to come in and do stuff because they're getting something out of it. Now, they don't like the fact that a lot of the money that those other people are making, they're taking back to their countries. We have to show them we want to add value to the country and keep the money in the country. They face the same problem we face in America and the Black community. The African money don't stay in the country long enough. So it's always going to the other communities in the U.S. So we got to show them we want to keep the African dollar in the African countries.
Amen. Yes. So, somebody said something about infrastructure, laying roads, bridges, and different things like that. That is exactly what they're bringing people from China in to do. Like, China is up deep in Africa, y'all. Like, they be booking up multiple hotels at a time.
Yes.
Here in Tanzania. So, we have the ability to build things. We have knowledge to do a lot of the same things they do. And so instead of these people getting these accounts to build these bridges, to make these roads and different things like that, we can come over here with our own businesses and we can do the same thing. And we're not trying to take from the country. We're trying to bring back the money and the value here to our land. So yes, the roads definitely need to be paved here. When it comes down to safety, things like that need to be put into place, because safety is not, I'm not saying that they don't have codes here. I'm pretty sure they have building codes here. The problem is they don't have anybody enforcing building codes here. And so in a heartbeat, they'll build you a house in 30 days. But that house is not going to be to code. There's nobody to enforce code here, okay? They have people, but they just don't do it. So we can come and add more value, teach them how you do things. Like the Bible says, you do everything as unto the Most High. You don't be cutting corners and all kind of stuff like that, especially when it comes down to building, because people's lives are at stake when you're building. So those are things that we can come over here and we can build. We can teach how to build the proper way. We can also teach them how to take pride in the things that you do. I'm sorry, but you don't let other nations outdo us. It's just, that's just like a no-no for me. We could do better than this, So building roads, building infrastructure. I don't know if you guys have heard of a place called Lesotho here in Tanzania.
If you've ever watched one of those things on YouTube about most dangerous roads in the world, it's on there.
So it's called like the Swiss of Africa. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the mountain parts of Swiss, but it is beautiful. Switzerland, yes. So Lesotho looks just like that. It's a beautiful place from the videos I have seen. But I won't be going until the roads are fixed, because they have very narrow roads that it takes about an hour to get up the mountain. There's a cliffside there, and the road is not big enough for two vehicles to pass by. Not to mention, they have rock slides and boulders falling from the mountain. So things like that is where we can come in and add that safety measure to put some doggone guardrails up so people ain't driving off the mountain. You know, it's different things, but we should think about those things before coming over here. Not just, I want to get to Africa. It's cool. Get out of America if you want to leave. Get out. But come over here with the mindset to actually build what is actually needed here in the country.
And let me say this real quick. There's not one of us watching this video right now that has not been done wrong by another black person. We get it. We get it. We are some stiff-necked, selfish people, even to our own people. But we got to move past that. We've got to become who the Most High has called us to be. So my piece of advice is, so I've always noticed how the Chinese, they'll come together, they'll take the skills of one, the money of another. So the one who has the money might not have the skills that the one who has the skills has, and the one who has the skills don't have the money. But they'll put it together, they'll start a business, and they'll help families through that business get money. And then they take all the money and they teach the skills and they give the money to help the next one get a business started. So now they all are making good money. So a lot of us, unfortunately, will say, all right, let's start a business together. And we'll say, well, I got $50,000. And they'll say, well, I don't have $50,000, but I'm an engineer. And they'll say, well, I'm not putting in all the money, and you know, you're not putting in nothing. We got to move past that and see the bigger picture and say, okay, so I don't have the skill you have as an engineer, but what I do have is the finances. That's what the Most High has blessed me with. So let's put these together. I'll bring the money, you bring the skills. Let's create something that's going to benefit our people, because now we can create a business in one of these countries and open it up. So not only can we hire people from the diaspora that want to come over, but we can hire people in the community where we live in the countries. So the government will say, this is what we're looking for. People who will come here to keep this money in our country and employ our people, because their people need jobs as well. But it also gives an opportunity for our people to come over and work and get residency.
Right. Because I know a lot of people have heard, oh, you know, you can't come over here to Tanzania and get a job. At a local company, you're pretty much not going to get a job. Not to mention, you're not going to want to get paid what they pay here. However, if we do come over here and open companies, we can hire our people to work these companies. Management is needed over here desperately. Customer service, teaching customer service is needed desperately. So that's where our people come into play. You know, we can come open our companies, and then we can hire our people for management positions, different things like that. And we can actually employ the locals and start teaching them how to manage, how to run businesses. So when they open businesses and everything, they can be run a lot better than they are right now. Because seriously, like, y'all, management and customer service is a desperate need over here. And it's not to say that they're being rude and different things like that. I honestly think that they just don't know customer service. They don't have customer service skills, and nobody's teaching it. So I know some people were concerned about, well, I don't have money. Do you think I have this much money is enough money to come and to get myself set up over here? I'm gonna be completely honest. If you come to Tanzania and you want to get yourself completely set up, you want to set up your business, you want to be self-sufficient, that means you got a land and you got a house built, you know, you got your well, you got your solar generators, different things like that. You have the money to pay your employees for a year or two, to live off of for that. I'm gonna tell you how much you really looking at for all of that. You're looking at around 70,000 USD. That's per family, okay? And that's, like I said, to buy land and build your own house and to have your company up and running. You're looking around that price, and that's for not a big company.
Right. Now, don't let that number make you feel like, man, you got to think about it. You can't even buy a house for $70,000 in the U.S. We're telling you for $70,000, you can get your residency, get your business up and going, get a home built where you're self-sufficient. You ain't got no water bill. You ain't got no power bill. So you got to look at what you're getting for that price compared to what $70,000 will give you in the U.S. $70,000 in the U.S. is going to get you a basic car nowadays, brand new.
Yeah. So, so some people don't have that. So my advice that I want to give to anybody, any families that say, well, we don't have that much money. Well, you don't really need that much money right away. You can rent a house for a year or two. And I mean, our rent, we pay $150 per month for our rent. And so our rent is paid up for the year because that's how it works out here. You pay normally 6 months or a year up front. And so our house is nice. Our house is 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, kitchen, living room, dining room. It's a nice house. I like our house. It's a new build. So I'm thankful for it. So you don't have to have the money to build a house, but it's just really good when you can be self-sufficient. And I know a lot of people are trying to be self-sufficient when they come out here. So my other idea was for those of you who say, I don't have the money to start a company. Well, partner with someone. Find someone that you trust and start a company together. One of the things that people don't know, out here in Tanzania, you can start an umbrella company, one company, but you can list many different businesses under your company. So if you go in with someone to say, okay, listen, we're going to start this one company, but we're going to have 20 different businesses or areas of business listed under this one company. Well, you can have 20 different people that's running those 20 different sectors, right? And you can have separate bank accounts for all of those sectors. But you save money actually by going in together that way and doing a business that way, because you're only paying one lawyer to file for that company, because you don't file for each company. You only file for the umbrella company.
And Warrior's Dream, to answer your question, yes, you do have to apply for a business visa to open your business. And if that's something you're interested in, if Tanzania is where you're looking to do that, like we said earlier in the video, you can email us at thesteppingstones.home@gmail.com, and we can put you in contact with a lawyer, which can give you more information on the legal side of it, so you can have that information before even coming here. If you're thinking about going somewhere else, you can reach out to lawyers in those countries and just ask them the whole process, how it works and what the requirements are.
Yes, and speaking of lawyers, no matter what country you go to, if you're opening a business, I would not recommend trying to go this your own. You need a lawyer, okay? You need a lawyer and you need an accountant if you're going to open businesses here. Do not try and do it on your own. I know people will tell you.
They will set you up.
Will tell you, oh, you could just do it on your own. Just go in the system and do this. Don't do that. Get you an accountant and have the accountant file all your filings for you, because things are much different. We know being here now is very different from the U.S. when it comes down to taxes and everything like that. And if you do not have an accountant, you're going to screw yourself up, just to let you know, because passing on correct information is another thing that is not practiced here. So So you want to make sure you have an accountant that knows everything pertaining to accounting and filing for whatever country you go to. Okay, yes, a trustworthy lawyer. And I don't know every country. I'm here in Tanzania, but I would recommend getting recommendations from people when you get there, because it's hard to find a good lawyer. For anybody trying to come to Tanzania, if you're trying to open up a business and they tell you it's $12,000-$13,000, they are lying. They are lying. They are lying. To open a business and to get your residency for two people, if one of you are working in the company only, it should not be any more than 3,050 USD. And that's for opening a business and residency. If they tell you otherwise, they are getting over on you. And we know a lot of diaspora who have been gotten over with lawyers who were not trustworthy. So that's why I said get a recommendation from somebody, because it is not that much. Not to mention the government's websites are there and they tell you the prices for things. So if the lawyer is telling you something different and it is not listed on the government's website, leave that lawyer alone.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, leave that lawyer alone, because they're trying to get money out of you. My other thing is the self-sufficiency. If you cannot afford to build a house yourself, something else that you can consider doing, if you're saying, well, I want to be self-sufficient, I really don't want to rent a house, and I want to have solar and I want to have my well, because honestly, there are perks to have, because we deal with power outages here. We deal with them often. Right now, Tanzania, every year Tanzania goes through a drought. Every year. So depending on where you live, you could be without water for a few days or a few weeks. Dar es Salaam and a lot of the other countries, they just had a water shortage because of the drought for a whole month. People were out of water, So thankfully where we are, it's not like that. But you may want to if you want to be self-sufficient, it's good to have a well dug, a deep well dug. Have like I said, your own solar. If you can't afford it, maybe you could go in with the family. Instead of building a 4-bedroom house, maybe you can build a 2-bedroom apartment right here, and the other side is another 2-bedroom apartment, where it's still, you're splitting the cost right down the middle. And now you have self-sufficiency. This family has self-sufficiency. You go in together to dig your well. You putting in the money together so you can save money that way. Where you can still have the things that you need without being in each other's house. Because I know a lot of people don't like living with people. So this is a way to still have the self-sufficiency and still have your own space. So those are some things that you could think about when you're coming, teaming up with someone to split the cost for a lot of these things.
Right. And also, land here where we are in Tanzania is pretty cheap. So let's say you go in with another family, y'all purchase 2 acres of land. All right. You can, one family be on 1 acre and one be on the other. So you're still, separated, but you're still splitting the cost, because 2-bedroom on one, 2-bedroom on one, it's still gonna be the same price if you build a 4-bedroom.
Right. Somebody said, are teachers and barbers needed in Tanzania?
Yes.
Yeah. I would say now a barber, you got barbers like 10 on every major road here. Them boys, they got barbershops and they look much better than the beauty salon.
Yeah, so for all y'all that thought only in America we as black men like to stay fresh with a fresh cut, Tanzanians stay with a fresh cut.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the beauty salons, but the barbershops be looking nice. But the beauty salons don't. They be, I don't understand. But they have a lot of barbers out here. Teachers, they are in desperate need of good teachers out here. Unfortunately, the school systems, from what I have seen, the students are not prepared. when they leave school. They're not prepared for the work field. They're not prepared. A lot of them, university, they're not prepared when they leave. Now that's not all the schools, but from what I have seen, they're just not prepared skill level wise. In your area, do you have any idea how much an acre of land is roughly?
So let's do this. So we're no longer in Dar es Salaam. All right. We are in a region now called Tonga. Okay. We are about 2 hours outside of Mombasa, Kenya, but we're still in Tanzania. So, and we're like in the village. So, here where we are right now, you can buy an acre of land for, what did the lady tell us the other day? Mama Fatma. She was telling the dada, it was like,
I wasn't with you.
So 1.5 million where we are. It's real village, rural area where we are. So 1.5 million is about
a little over $600.
Yeah, a little over $600 for an acre. Now there are places that, like if you go down to Dar es Salaam, because it is more city, you can find land which is going to range anywhere from what?
Dar es Salaam is expensive. You're looking at about, for an acre of land, you might pay 60 million T shillings. I don't know how much that is in USD, but it's very expensive in Dar es Salaam, the land. So if you want land, I would not suggest Dar es Salaam. Now, business-wise, Dar es Salaam is really good for business. It's where they have the most people. Yet, it is like one of the smallest regions. Like the region we are in right now, it's probably about 10 to 20 times the size of Dar es Salaam. And yet, I don't think it's even 1 million people live in this region. It's pretty empty. You know, so that's why the land is a lot cheaper when you go to other regions. They don't have a lot of people. They don't have a lot of things there. They don't have a lot of things here. You know, where we are. Everybody gets their things shipped from Dar es Salaam. So, you know, when you go out places like that, land is definitely cheaper. I know people may say, well, I don't want to be, you know, way out. They still have towns and they have things, you know, things that you need. All your necessities are going to be met. You know, you're going to find deodorant, you're going to find lotion, toothpaste, toothbrushes, you know, all of your food, you're going to have those things. Right. And a few other things. So they have all of your necessities, but it's just not, you're not going to find malls there. Like there's no mall where we live right now. They're supposed to be building one, but it's not here yet. So there's no mall out here. The only entertainment out here is the beach. That's the entertainment. Or if you're younger and you like going to the bar, you know, you like that bar scene, but that's it. And that's pretty much it. In the other places that are very rural, it's nothing here. You know, I think they said only 30% of Tanzania has been explored. So 70%, who knows? So yeah, do you have a lot of problems with bug, vermin? So this goes back to the housing. Okay, and and the quality of your house. So I wish I could show y'all this, but I know you can't see it on camera. You're going to find bugs, of course, because like it's not built up. So you have a lot of bugs. You're going to find spiders. Of course, there are mosquitoes and flies.
Lizards.
There are lizards. There are bugs you have never seen before in your life with crazy colors. There are flying bees that look like they have armor plating on, and they're like twice, 3 times the size of bees in the U.S. There are giant centipedes that are about a foot long.
Wait. Let me get my hand right in the camera.
Giant centipedes that they're huge. There are snakes, of course. There are snakes. Everybody knows snakes in Africa, but normally when it's a lot of houses and stuff, you're not gonna find a lot of them.
But you will still come across them like we did the other day when I went to take the trash out, and it was a poisonous snake, yes, and he was just sitting there looking at me. I was looking at him. I tried to do right because he was outside. That's his environment. I tried to let him go. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to bite. He wanted to try to bite, so I had to chop his head off. Look, I treat snakes like witches. I don't suffer them to live.
We don't. We chopped him up and then we burnt him, made sure he was dead for real. So yes, you're gonna find a lot of bugs here in Tanzania. Unfortunately, but it's a beautiful thing to me. I see things I've never seen before, and I'm like blown away. Like, what is that? But it's scary. It can be scary, but it's amazing at the same time to see different bugs that you're just not accustomed to seeing. So you do deal with them. I don't like flying bugs. We have kumi season right now.
Kumi is a termite. They have huge termites out here.
The huge flying termites.
Right.
About this big. The wings just flapping around. And so, they're attracted to light. And so when it rains, they come out of the ground.
At nighttime.
At night, they lay their eggs or whatever, and then they die.
Yeah, and the houses aren't sealed that well here. So as soon as your lights come on inside the house, they coming in chasing the light.
Yes. So, yeah, that's the problem. The houses are not sealed properly. And because of that, you have little cracks and crevices where little creepy crawlers can come in. My front door doesn't even close properly. Like, we have to lock it just for it to stay closed.
Yes, that's some more of the workmanship things that they need to be. Some of them need to be shown, we'll say.
But I love my house, y'all. I love my little house. We don't have much. We don't have much furniture, but I love my house because the Most High blessed us with this house. He didn't have to. I asked for a new build. It's a new build. Nobody's ever lived in this house except for us. And so he didn't have to bless me with that. So, I'm thankful. But yeah, these are some of the little quirks that you will come across.
Yeah. And so, got a little funny story here. So last week for Shabbat, we had some some friends over, and our one of the one of the windows got left open in one of the rooms, and and a bat flew in the house.
Yes.
So I went in the room to close that window. No, the power went out. So the power went out. And so the lantern was in that room. So I went in that room and I noticed the window was open. Now, because it was pitch black, I didn't see the bat fly past me and go into the rest of the house.
Right.
And so then the power came back on. And so we're sitting there and I hear Isha G go, what is that? I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, I don't know what that is. And so they're looking and she goes, babe, there's a bat in the house. And so our friend, she is, look, y'all see these curtains behind us, right? How about she gonna get behind the curtain and hide behind the curtain because she don't want the bat to get her.
Man. I took off. I went in the room and closed my door. I'm like, y'all need to get this bat out of here.
So luckily, I opened the front door and I kept shining my flashlight on it because, bats don't like light. And so it got aggravated with the light and it flew out the window. Went out the door. And so we heard it close the door. We're just rolling in here because they were still hiding in the room and hiding behind the curtains.
So yes, there are creepy crawlers, but you won't have to be sweeping up all day. It's mostly at night when they try and come out or whatever. But if your house is not sealed, I would just say go to your hardware store and get you some sealant and seal all of the cracks and everything. Ours are not sealed. Our builders politely just put some styrofoam in between the cracks for us.
Yeah, and I know some of you, my home builders, you probably say, well, why you don't just buy some sealant? So the sealant that they have here is imported. They don't make sealant here, and most of it is expired.
You have to go to Dar es Salaam to get the good sealant.
Yeah, so the next time I'm in Dar es Salaam, I'm gonna have to get some. So if you try to seal the windows with what you have here in the region that we're in right now, about a month, it's just gonna fall off. Well, let me answer this question right here. Can you have a firearm here in Tanzania? So you cannot bring a firearm into Tanzania. If you have a knife that you can flick it, you can't bring that into Tanzania either. Okay. However, once you arrive in Tanzania, you can go to the U.S. Embassy and get a letter from them where the U.S. Embassy does a background check on you, gives them a letter, and you can take that to a firearms dealer and purchase you a firearm, and then you take the firearm and that letter to the local police department by where you live, and they register it for you. Yeah. Okay, but I did not do that because I don't even want the U.S. Embassy knowing anything about me, other than, I know they know that I'm here because of my passport, but outside of that, I'm not going down there to see them about nothing.
But to each your own. If you feel comfortable, then yes, it is a way. But just most people don't have them here because you don't need them here. Tanzania, look.
Keep you a panga, which is a machete.
That's the most people got over here. And like I've said many times, the most you're gonna run into is theft here. Other than that, you ain't right, Miss Carol. That's right. You ain't gonna hear about people trying to shoot you, kill you, rape you, kidnap you. You don't hear about that here. The people, they're very peaceful here when it comes down to things like that. They will try and get money from you and get over on you, but they're very peaceful here. They're nice people. They're very nice people. They're very helpful people for the most part. We've had our run-ins, but for the most part, Tanzanians are very helpful, very nice people. And it doesn't matter if they're Muslim or Christian or whatever. They're all nice, you know? So to each their own. So, I know our people a lot of times be kind of paranoid because of the U.S. and they're like, I got to protect myself. And depending on the country you go to, yeah, but Tanzania is not one of those countries where you're going to have to be worried about protecting yourself like that. At the most, if you put your fist up, ain't nobody gonna bother you out here.
Auntie Ruhama, don't be shooting up your house now, trying to kill them bats. Okay, I know you OG from old school. All right, I know you handle your business, but don't be shooting up the house.
Yes. So it's lovely out here. What other advice can I give y'all? It's just some of these things right here. It's things that you can do to make your transition a lot easier. And like I said, one of the biggest things, like what we're trying to do is figure out a way to have businesses and NGOs registered, not just in Tanzania, but throughout Africa, so that we can actually hire our people as well as the locals, so that our people can actually have work when they come over here. Because some people have been concerned about, how do I make money? I don't have enough money. I have money to get there, but I don't have money to live off of. So we're trying to kind of brainstorm with some people here to figure out how we can get some things started so that our people actually can have a position, coming over here, because I know there's some concerns that people have. And I know if you don't know how to take care of yourself and you really want to leave, that can be, a hindrance for some people.
Yes, there is an airport here, Ms. Gloria. There's one in Dar es Salaam. There's one in Arusha. They're building one, a big one in Dodoma. It's not, Dodoma's the capital now, it's no longer Dar es Salaam. They're building one there. But yes, there are airports here. Now, I just want to really quickly, my wife was mentioning about NGOs. So if you have currently, you are the owner of a NGO currently or a nonprofit in the U.S., if everything is up to date, most African countries, you can open up a chapter in those countries and you can get a volunteer residency and volunteer visa to be in the country.
Right. And everyone that's a part of your NGO, if they are from a foreigner, they can get the volunteer residency as well. Where we are, there are a lot of people from Britain here.
Yes.
And that is what they do. They have their NGOs and then they hire all of their people. They have an entire huge behind neighborhood. Nothing but them live there. And they all have NGOs, and that's how they get a lot of their people here.
Right. And they're able to ship stuff here through the NGO because, as you know, NGOs aren't able to be taxed. So they don't have to pay a lot of the port fees and everything that a regular business would when shipping things.
But even with NGOs, it's once again, look at some of the things the country needs. One big thing over here, they don't have a lot of homeless people, but they have a lot of street children here. Yes. I have never seen children on the street like in Dar es Salaam. You ain't gonna see homeless grown folks, but you see a lot of children on the street.
Exploited children. Let me say that. Yes. Exploited children, because there's these people that they take these children and they make these children go out and beg. You'll be parked at the light and they'll come up and they'll be asking you for money, for food and everything. Mm-hmm. They don't actually go buy food. They take it back to somebody else who only gives them, they might collect 10,000 T shillings in a day and they'll only give them like 500 of it.
So, they're not going hungry because people will help them. They can even go to just a random local person's house and ask for food and somebody will give them something to eat. But it's just sad that it's a lot of children roam the streets like that. They're not in school. Out here, you have to pay to go to school. And even though the government schools, they're at a price where the locals can afford it, still there are some children out here who do not go to school because their parents don't have the money for them to go to school. But there are a lot of street children out here. So having real orphanages that are really going to help the children, to give them a good education and prepare them to go out and to start businesses or have jobs, that is needed here. Because like my husband said, it's a lot of exploitation of the children out here. And so that's something that we can implement to stop foolishness like that. So even with the NGOs, it's good to look into areas where things are needed. If it's with infrastructure, like I said, the roads need help. You can start an NGO where you can actually get grants and different things for infrastructure. Then you can go to different areas and you can start, having roads paid, get with the government, of course, and get the permission to go through the proper avenues so that you can get roads paved out here. Like I said, it's a lot of mountains here. And going up those mountains, there are no safety measures taken when building those roads. There are no guardrails. The roads are very small. They're dangerous roads for people to go up. And
as we told them in our We Almost Died in Moshi video.
Well, that was Moshi. But even where we are right here in Tonga, there are a lot of mountains. Tanzania has a lot of mountains. So if you're starting an NGO, you can do the same thing. Go to the government's website, find an area of a need, and see about starting to get grants so that you can actually help with infrastructure here in the country. So an NGO, just for y'all who don't know, it's the same as a nonprofit. It's just a non-government organization. And you cannot come to Tanzania and start it. You have to start it in the country you
originated from.
Right, first, and then open up the chapters here. Yes, the children, we've seen children what age? I haven't seen any children like 2, 3 years old, anything like that. But children around 7, 8 years old,
And up.
yeah, you see them roaming the street, during the middle of the day, just asking for money, you know, things like that. Yeah, so it's a lot that's needed throughout Africa. And a lot of these other people, they really do come out here and start NGOs and get these kids. And I know we get mad at them because they don't look like us and they have these kids, but they the ones coming out here starting the NGOs and getting the kids off the street. Some of them exploiting them. Yeah, some of them, you know, doing child trafficking and stuff. But like I say, that's where we come in. We can actually start these things where it's things that's really going to benefit the country. It's going to benefit the people. What else?
Let's see. Other things to know. We told them about, let's just recap here real quick. We talked about the lawyers. We talked about going onto the sites to find out what's needed in the countries, finding a good contact. Now, in most every country here in Africa now, there is somebody from the diaspora, okay? You just have to find them and reach out to them and try to see what things they can share with you about the country that the Most High is leading you to. I do not in any shape or form recommend anybody just going without knowing anybody that can give you some type of information before you hit the ground. So there's that.
I just want to say also for us, I'll tell you guys where we have contacts. If you're maybe looking to go to Sierra Leone, we have a contact there. We have a contact in Zambia. We have a contact in Rwanda. You guys know we're here in Tanzania. I know you guys know Ron Dalton.
Yeah.
He's in South Africa. If you guys know how to get in contact with him. Other than that, those are the areas we have contacts. We've been trying to get more contacts in other areas. I've reached out to a few people in Kenya, but I haven't gotten a response yet. I'm trying to get more information on Ethiopia because we do have a contact there, but they have not been there very long. So they're still finding out things about Ethiopia. Speaking of Ethiopia, if you have considered Ethiopia, when you go to Ethiopia and you get your 90-day visa, I don't remember the price, but you get your 90-day visa. When it is time for you to leave the country, once you leave the country and you come back, you automatically get a 2-year visa for Ethiopia, which you can renew. Right. So that's just a little tidbit if anybody has considered going to Ethiopia.
And we are going to be starting a series of, because it is, the Most High put it on our heart that it's very imminent for our people to begin to leave the U.S. and the surrounding countries that we were scattered to. So we're going to be starting a series as we gather information on these different countries. We're going to come live and we're going to give you as much information as we can about Zambia, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana. You know, if you're going to the West, Sierra Leone, Gambia, as much information as we can, so that way you can know as much as possible before you arrive there, if that's where the Most High is sending you.
Yes. So I want to give you guys an update about South Africa also. South Africa used to be visa-free. I recently checked their website, and if you are a U.S. citizen now, you guys do need a visa now to enter into South Africa. This is very, very recent. This week I checked it, and so I'm thinking it's probably because who South Africa has joined with
the BRICS.
They've joined with BRICS. So I'm pretty sure that's probably why U.S. Passport holders have to pay for a visa now. But Namibia you still don't need a visa, to go to Namibia for any of you considering going there. But that is just an update on South Africa.
Yes.
You do need a visa now.
So before we get off of here, if you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat, and we'll answer them as best we can.
Yes. So
yeah, and I just want to show this real quick. Miss Carol was just in South Africa 2 months ago, and when she was there, you didn't need a visa, but now you do.
when you go, when you check the website, it says that U.S. passport holders now need a visa. So I was shocked because that was on my list to visit, because you didn't need a visa. But hey, it's okay. One day I pray that the whole, continent is open to us, where all of us will be able to go visa free.
Yeah, and us coming together as a people, look, that's how the Ish people move. That's how the Europeans move. That's how the Chinese move. That's how the Latins move. They come together and they make their presence felt. That is not something we were taught as Black people, but that's something we have to do, because once we can do that, then we can show them that, hey, we are who you don't know that we are. And what I mean by that is they don't understand who we are. And so we have to show them by uniting and coming together as one body, one mind.
Somebody said, have we ever thought of getting a cat for rodents? No, I never thought about it. Someone asked me if I wanted 2 kittens the other day. I honestly want two pit bulls.
Yeah, Isha G is a pit bull kind of girl.
I used to have cats in the States.
Had pit bulls too.
I had my cats and my pit bulls, but I hadn't thought about it over here. Just because I know cats, they don't need a lot of attention, but you have to be very careful with cats. And it's like, I don't have money to waste, so if I buy a piece of furniture, I don't need it scratched up. So, and I'm not sure if they have all the things that cats would need to be occupied like that here, especially not in the area we are in right now.
How is the internet connection for businesses? I'm going to be honest, they are on 4G here. In Tanzania, they're on 4G.
Yes, we do not have 5G, but it works well for us. It's lots of people who do business. It's lots of people who have online businesses here, or they have online jobs, and the internet works fine. You can get unlimited internet for like 60,000 T shillings.
Unlimited is
125,000 T shillings.
Like $60.
Yeah, so that's like $60. You can get unlimited internet in your house. And if you I would say when you're considering moving somewhere, check the area to find out where the towers are, because the closer you are to a tower, the more reliable your internet service is going to be. Like where we are right now, we don't have a problem with internet. It's just electricity. So, our devices, if it's not charged up, we just messed up. But the internet is pretty good where we are. We don't have any problems.
About a ballpark to take with you, 1 adult, 3 children. So Tanzania, you can bring into the country with you 10,000
per person.
Yeah, 10,000 USD per person.
So if you're asking how much would you need to set your life up here for the 1 adult and 3 children, if you're trying to be self-sufficient and, like I said, live where you don't have electricity bill or a water bill, getting your business set up and everything.
Getting your residency and all that.
Like I said, building a house and everything like that would be about 70,000. But if you are not building a house,
you're gonna rent.
And you're just going to rent, I say a good 20 grand would be more than enough, to get your life started and to get your business up and running. you know, for one adult and three children, even two adults and three children. You know, and the reason I say that is because when you first get here, especially when you have children, you're going to want to take them some places. So, and then you have your school fees because the children are going to need to get their residency student visas. So you have your school fees that you have to pay for all of the children. You pay those up front for the year. If you don't want to take your children to school, you have to pay for the bus for them to take to school. So those are things that you have to consider. So that's why I say about 20 grand if you have three children. I would say that.
I've heard about international schools where expats can enroll their children. Do you have any information about them? And are they like private schools that we have here in the States?
So if you want to know international schools, we know several people here who have children, and so we can get the information for some international schools in Dar es Salaam as well as in the area we live in. They are not exactly like private schools, but what I would say, they have better curriculums. So if you want your children to get a better education, you would want to put them in a private school here. They are definitely a bit more pricey to put your child in a private school here, but it's not like America pricey, you know, and they have a lot more extracurricular activities because one of the things for the local schools, they don't really see the necessity for anything outside of curriculum. So if you want, send us an email and I can email you a few schools if you're considering Tanzania in Dar es Salaam, as well as the area we're in, Tonga, of the private schools here. The people we know, they like them. Their children seem to like them, you know. So yeah, I'll send you any information I can about that I can find out about the private schools here.
Yeah. To answer this question, this journey, yes, you can purchase solar lanterns, solar radios. They even have solar generators here. So we do have those things here. They vary in price anywhere from 10 USD and up, depending on your negotiating skills.
And definitely Dar es Salaam is where they have an abundance of things there. They have the big mall. They have the store like, what's that store? Like Walmart. It's like Walmart, you know, that's at the mall. The supermarket, they have the supermarket at the mall as well. So down in Dar, and if you go to Carriacou, if you don't mind the crowd, you can find pretty much anything. If you want things at a better price, then you can go to Carriacou,
which is a giant flea market. That's one thing I can compare it to.
With apartments mixed in between, high-rise apartments.
It's like 6 New York City blocks of nothing but people selling stuff.
It's more than 6.
Okay, so, but
that place is huge. Like, you will get lost in Carriacou. You cannot go down there unless you have a local with you because you will be lost. You ain't gonna be able to find your car. It's so many people, everybody, a lot of people selling the same stuff, you know, but you can pretty much, all the cheap stuff, it's the same stuff they sell at the mall, but you get it for a discounted price at Carriacou.
That's where the mall's going to get it.
Right. So yes, you can have solar everything here. A lot of people have solar. A lot of people have solar panels. Everything is here. It's just, you know, if you want to go to certain places to get it. What about banking? You can open a bank account here. When you get your residency, or you don't even need residency. No. When you come here on your tourist visa, you can open a bank account. Yeah. You just need your passport. You need to know your social security number. You go to the bank, you're going to fill out a form. They're going to give it to you. It's kind of like a 1099 form or whatever. And it's just saying that whatever money you make in the country, it is reported back to the United States, because even though you may move here and have residency here, all of the money you make is still taxed by the U.S. government.
All thanks to our social security number. You know, we still slaves to them.
So you have to pay taxes in this country, and then you have to pay taxes to the U.S. as well. So, but it's very easy to open a bank account. They give you your bank card, you know, so you can go to the ATMs. Very simple process here, but it is considered a foreign account, not a local bank account.
So, Brother Floyd, how you doing, my brother? So, key things to bring with you in regards to tools. You're not going to want to put those on the airline because that's going to be real expensive, because y'all know how they charge for weight. So if you ship something over, it's still going to be expensive.
Wait, what type of tools? I was there.
Yeah, like I mean, they have tools here, but you're not going to find Craftsman tools here. You're going to find stuff from Japan and China and India here.
You have, what is it called?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have some brands that you see in the U.S. here.
But none of the good stuff.
They have some, well, I don't know. But you can definitely get tools. I'm gonna say this. To me, I think it's worth paying $200 to bring your tools over versus buying each individual tool again over here, because you're gonna end up spending a lot more money doing it like that, buying them over here. So if you have them and you could spend an extra $200 to put a few extra suitcases with your tools on the plane, I would suggest you do that, because it's a lot of things we did not bring, and I wish to the Most High, if I could do it again, I would somehow have paid the extra price to get like an extra 2 suitcases here to have some things brought here.
All right. I'm gonna need somebody to get Auntie Ruhama, because she having way too much fun in this chat. But now I don't want to get nobody excited. Look, my black people, we know we love us some Walmart. The store here is Walmart-ish. All right, it's Walmart-ish. All right.
It's Walmart without the clothes. That's what
I said it's Walmart-ish.
It's Walmart without the clothing section. That's what it is. But yeah, it's still nice because you can get pretty much anything you need there. But it's just more expensive if you go to the mall to get all the stuff. It was something I wanted to say. Was it about tools?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was about tools. But yeah, whatever you can bring in your suitcases without having to put it get a shipping container, I would say bring it, because you would not believe some of the things that you're gonna miss. It's like, dang, why didn't I bring that? And I will also say pray over your stuff before you put it on the plane, because I had some stuff come up missing. I'm like, I know I packed it. You know, I know one of the things I missed is my cheesecloth. And I know I packed it. Somebody took my cheesecloth. And so they don't have them over here. And so, I mean, I could make me a little something, but I just, I already had it. And so I was mad that somebody took my cheesecloth. I also had a soldering tool. Somebody took my soldering tool. So, just pray over your stuff before you put it on the plane, that nobody won't, take it. But pack your stuff. Pack stuff that really think about how much you use certain things.
And can I transfer funds? Yes. Once you have your account set up, because it is a US dollar account. So you can transfer funds from your American bank to your account here. And then when you go to the ATM, it'll come out in T shillings.
How is the job market there? What industries are booming? So Tanzania is one of those countries, they really are trying to keep up with uh, the West. And so right now, tech is very big here. And I would say for anybody that is, what is it? What's the name of that building?
IT.
IT. My IT professionals, please come out here and help us out. Okay? Because we need websites that work properly. So if you are in IT, it's needed. But technology is one of the biggest industries that you see when it comes down to web hosting, websites, anything in the tech field is like the booming businesses right now in Tanzania. Hold on. The booming businesses right now. Let me think of something else. Building is really big right now. Construction development is a big booming industry right now. They are building everywhere, and they're saying one of the biggest things they're saying in all the areas is we need people to build. We need housing. They don't have enough, and people move into Africa like crazy, and it's not even enough houses for the local people here. So, if you are in construction, they need construction companies. They need development companies here. They need manufacturing companies here as far as machinery. They need agricultural business here. But like I would say, going to do more grains and different things like that. They need manufacturing to process the agriculture, I know people don't like processed foods, and I don't eat canned food and all kind of stuff like that. But when it comes down to frozen foods and different things like that, they need things like that. They need clothing manufacturers so they can stop ordering stuff from overseas, because this is one of the biggest problems that I see here. Like when you're starting a business and you're doing your research and you're trying to see how to get your products, you look through Africa. And you have some things, but you have a lot of things that are not here. So you have to order it overseas. The price tag jumps way up, because of having to order all that stuff overseas. If we can do manufacturing here, then it will be a lot cheaper for people to afford nice things, So we are in desperate need of manufacturing here. We're in desperate need of people to, like somebody said earlier, to build the roads here. But definitely real estate and IT, any tech company is like a very popular field right now.
So real quick before I answer your question, Warrior's Dream, Auntie Ruhama, unfortunately, the money here is not backed by gold as of yet. So it's backed, pretty much is based off the American dollar right now. But it's changing throughout the different African countries. We're just waiting for it to come around to Tanzania's turn, because there's a lot of gold here. Personally, I would like to see that they would back it with Tanzanite, because there's so much Tanzanite here. But now, Warrior's Dream, what are some things that we wish that we would have brought from over here in the U.S.? So I bake. I wish I would have brought my pans, because a lot of the pans I can't find here. Also, I cook. Lemon pepper seasoning is hit and miss. They don't have a lot of seasonings here, because the two main seasonings they use. Specialty seasonings, yes, because they mainly just put salt and salt.
But all your now, you gonna have these people thinking they ain't got seasons here. Like they have.
No, they got seasons.
Garlic, onion, cumin, oregano, curry.
I'm not saying they don't have them, but they like to cook with just a little bit of salt.
That's what they like to cook with. They got thyme, rosemary, basil, bay leaf. They got all of those seasonings here. But he's just talking about how a lot of the locals cook. But they have seasonings here, but all of those pre-made seasonings, your all-purpose seasonings, you're not going to find it here.
Yeah, I mean, I can make them from scratch, but it's just very time-consuming.
What else? I would have loved to have brought my comforter sets here, because even though they have bedding here, it's not that great. They don't have a big selection. And yes, I know it's hot here, but when you have been here, I'm gonna give you like 4 months, and all of a sudden, weather that would have been like, oh, this is not cold, you cold, because we came from North Georgia. And so, we got used to it being cold for like 7 months out the year. And so coming here at first, we came in the winter time here. And so weather that was like in the upper 60s, it wasn't cold to us. But after we were here a few months, 70 something degrees was cold. And I'm like, how in the world am I cold? And it's 70 something degrees. But your body temperature coming to a hot climate, your blood thins out very quickly. So I needed my comforter. Another thing I would have loved, my sweaters, because I be cold now. I only have 2 sweaters, but this guy right here, he told me, babe, it's hot in Africa, so don't bring no stuff.
Listen, all right, let me just clear this up right now. All right. I made some mistakes before coming over here, because I took the foolishness that they told us about Africa and I believed it. And so I'm man enough to say I screwed up. All right. So bring your jackets, because it gets cold over here. All right.
And the further inland you go, it gets cold. Like especially if you're going to somewhere like Oringa or Mbeya, like it drops down to the 30s there. So it gets cold. And in Moshi, it's in the 50s.
Yeah, that's Mount Kilimanjaro area. It was cold.
Yeah. So, what else do I wish I would have brought?
That's about it.
Appliances.
No, because
they have the adapters.
Be careful when you bring, ladies, your hair dryers, your hot curling irons, and all that stuff. All right, because they use a 220 volt over here, not what we use in the U.S. And you can blow the house out. The fuses.
I did.
Like this one here did, trying to plug in her hair dryer when we first got here.
I did. We was out of power for like 3 days, y'all. But you have to buy a certain type of adapter where you can use your devices, and I didn't know that. And so, like, I had my NutriBullet, and it was so good. It blends so well, and I've been through 3 blenders here now, because my NutriBullet, the motor was like blown. I blew it up trying to use it. So if I had known, I would have bought the right adapter so I could use my appliances over here, like my blow dryer, like my NutriBullet, because I haven't found one that's compatible with the ones that were in the States. So those things, I definitely wish I had did better research, so I could still be using them.
You still have to pay Social Security if you renounce your. So once you renounce your citizenship, you don't owe the U.S. nothing no more.
Right.
Nothing.
So yeah, once you get that citizenship, no. Unfortunately, it takes a long time in most of these African countries to get citizenship, with the exception of Sierra Leone. If you could trace so they say if you can trace your DNA back to a tribe there, they'll give you citizenship. And I think it's dual citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only country I personally know of. I haven't researched every country in Africa, but I personally know of where you can get citizenship. Right now, Tanzania is 10 years. And then it's people who have been here
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, and they have not been issued citizenship. So
they're still in the process. Are there good local construction companies that we could partner with to start a business?
There are good construction companies out here. I have to be honest. I have not met all of them, so I cannot speak for all. But most of the ones I know where I have seen the work have been Indian construction companies. So unless you mean partnering with an Indian company, probably not. But I would say, here's the thing. If you are American, you are like gold over here on the continent, okay? And so if you have a company, bring it over here because you will get a lot of jobs. Just because you are American, you went to school in America, you have an American degree, they esteem it so much more higher than their own people's degrees here. So if you have one, you can start a company over here and you will get business just because they know you're American.
Auntie Carol said that she know what to get you for your birthday now.
My NutriBullet and a cheesecloth.
In a jacket.
Yes. So yeah. We just did that one.
No. How does it?
Yeah, we just did that. So I don't see any more questions. Any more questions? But those are some things that you want to consider before coming out here. Just make sure you look on these websites very, very well. And if you're retirement age, then like I said, consider some countries where you can just go and chill. You know, you can just enjoy your retirement because they are here in Africa. But if you're here, you're younger, and you want to work, you want to do some business, look on the sites and find out what business you can do that will help the country. You know, come over here with a plan to help. This is our home, and our home needs help.
Yes.
You know, our home needs help. I know some people say it ain't trodden down. Oh, yes, it is. When you over here, you'll see, oh, yeah, it's trodden down, all right.
Mm-hmm. Every which way, but up.
So we need our people. It's time for us to come back into help. It shouldn't be all these other people doing stuff, but the only reputation we have is being troublemakers. You know, it's very unfortunate that it's some people like that. It's a young man pulled a big scam over here in Tanzania, and now he's not here. You know, and so if things like that, even though it's not the majority of us, you know how it goes. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch. And so that's how we're looked at as troublemakers. We have had several of the diaspora women who come over here and they be cursing the people out and everything like that. It's like, we can't come over here moving like that because then it gives us a bad rep. And so they think that all of us are like that. And so you have people that are not following protocols when it's time for you to leave the country. People don't want to leave the country. People staying here a year and haven't left the country one time on a tourist visa. And now it's time for them they're trying to leave the country, and now they can't leave the country because their passports show that they ain't never left the country. So they stuck in the country, have to pay money to get out of the country. It's just a lot of things our people are doing that just doesn't make sense. And people, if you're in the country and you're spending money, enjoying your time in the country, you should have had a plan. Come over here, start a business. If you had all that money to spend, start a business. You know, why try and abuse the system? It's like when we are doing things like that, it causes them to really look down on us, and it makes it harder for the ones that are trying to come over here and actually help. And that doesn't just go for Tanzania. It goes for all the African countries. So it's like we have to start coming together to work together, to have a plan, join up with each other. If we have to team up and get things done, we have to start doing those things to help each other and to help our people over here. It's a necessity now. It's not a want anymore. It's necessary.
Yeah. So you're asking what happens to your Social Security retirement benefits if you denounce your citizenship. It no longer is yours because you are no longer a citizen of that country.
Right. So you're not entitled to any of the country's benefits anymore.
Right. It's the same as right now. You can go to, if you come over here, you go to any African country, go to any foreign country, and you say, I ran out of money, I can't afford to get back. You can go to the U.S. Embassy in any country, and they will send you back to the U.S. However, if you denounce that you are a citizen of that place, you're SOL.
And it just, for all of y'all, if you get sent back by the embassy, you are no longer allowed to come back in that country. Just so you know, if you come over there and you don't have money to get back and you have to go to the embassy and the embassy send you back, you can no longer come to that country ever until things are changed.
Yeah. What's going on, T'Challa? We are about 6 hours outside of Dar es Salaam.
Yes. Yes. So this area, like I said, it's not a lot of people. It's slow, but it's nice. It's beautiful. It's lush. It's nice. I like it more than Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is big, but it's very small compared to the rest of the country. Yet most people go to Dar es Salaam. It's very packed. There's no order there. It's just one big city that looked like somebody took a bunch of buildings, shook them in their hands, and just went, wow.
Yahtzee.
It's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And lots of people.
They said it's like 9 million people just in Dar es Salaam.
I don't remember, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people in Dar es Salaam, and the traffic is bad.
Bad.
Y'all, like, I ain't never been to New York. I don't know how New York traffic is, but I know Georgia traffic. Atlanta traffic, just, it's terrible in Atlanta. It's worse here. Yeah. So I'm happy to be out of Dar. I still love Tanzania, but I'm not a city girl. I grew up in the city, but I'm not a city girl. I like being out. I like space. I don't like clutter.
We like going up the road to our neighbor and take some bottles and getting some fresh milk from the cow,
Right? Asante Sana, thank you, Ruhama. So, like these earrings, there's a guy who has a business, they say queen on them, selling jewelry. And so I wanted some earrings, but when I went there, I was like, this is it. I was like, you need to get some earrings that like we would like African American, something that says Africa. I'm African. And so lo and behold, about 2 weeks later, I came there, he had a whole new selection.
Yep, he been selling out of them too.
Ever since. You even got no white girls over there trying to buy earrings like this. Like, y'all better stop it.
That is what's funny to me, y'all. I'm sorry. How these white girls come over here and they trying to buy earrings that say queen on them, and we looking at them like, snatch that out your ear. Miss Carol, where we are, yes, there are some people that speak English. However, it's more Swahili and Arabic.
Yes.
In the area we are.
Now, here's something we found out. A lot of them speak English, but they're ashamed to speak English to you because they feel like I can't speak it well, so they won't speak English. They'll just speak to you in Swahili. But a lot of them speak English well enough to hold a conversation, but they're embarrassed because they feel like I can't speak English as well as you, so they just won't speak it. And it's like, well, you weren't born and raised in America. I was like, we don't be doing what you be saying, but we still be trying.
Yeah, and most of the schools here teach English, so they have to learn some English. Now they're not going to be all fluent, but they will. They do understand you. They understand more than they can speak. Well, I'll say that.
Yes. So I just want to say, for somebody who asked about teaching earlier, teachers are needed. One thing we need is to come out here and open our own schools, our own private schools. We really need them. And it would be great if we could have the schools formulated in a way where it is affordable for the locals as well. You know, it could be a private school, but something that is affordable for a lot of the locals, because it's just, man, it just makes me so angry sometimes just walking around here and looking at how our people have to live sometimes. Like, it makes me angry. Like, you should be able to live in a house that have windows or doors. You know, you should be able to live in a house that, and not just some little cutout in a wall somewhere. Like, it just, it makes me very angry to see how some of our people live. So we need teachers. We need people to open up schools out here. We need people to open up hospitals out here, because you can do natural medicine out here, but I know some people won't, you know, the chemicals. But we need hospitals out here, proper hospitals, because you know where the good hospitals are? You know who run them? The Indian people run the good hospitals. So a lot of the local people, they don't get good health care because they can't afford to go to the good hospital.
So, first of all, Shabbat Shalom, Zion Bound. We're actually going to be doing a video soon about some of the experiences we've had here dealing with spirits and witchcraft here in Tanzania. Now, is it practiced in Tanzania? It's practiced all over the continent of Africa, because look, our people are here as well. You know what I'm saying? And we know that our people, unfortunately, they had strange wives who had strange gods, you know, and they did strange things. So yes, it is practiced in Tanzania, but it's practiced all over. So to answer that question, yes. But we're actually going to be releasing a video soon, talking about some things we've come across, you know, some battles we've had when we went to certain areas and we had to make our presence known. So
yes, so it exists. It exists in America. I don't know if y'all have ever had to engage in spiritual warfare, you know, where them jokers be trying to manifest themselves. But it's like that here. But I would say, when you come here, if you are really, for people that's serious about the Most High, it's like the enemy knows that you're here and he does not want you here. And so you will deal with some where you know is witchcraft. I don't mean like people trying to put witchcraft on you, but you know, it's demonic spirits, it's witches that's, yes, activity. So yes, you deal with that here. It's not an everyday thing. One thing that you'll deal with and you'll see here when you go to certain areas, especially Arabic areas and Indian areas, you're gonna see a lot of idols.
There's a lot of Hindus here where we are.
Lots of Hindus.
We were shocked.
Very shocked, because we came here, we're like, wait, hold on, what y'all doing here? How long y'all been here? And so you see their idols everywhere. You know, you go in the shops because they own most of the stores. You look at one of the corners, you're gonna see their little shrine set up.
Yep.
You know, so yes, just, you know, if you don't pray, start practicing. while you there before you come, because you will have to be praying. Stay prayed up out here, because the enemy does not want us to come back home. So he's going to try and do any and everything to get you out of here. Whether it be he causes you to have issues with the government, whether it be he causes you to have issues with the people or the locals, whatever it is, he's going to try and get you to go back to the U.S. Or somewhere else. He does not want us back in this land.
Right, because whether you believe Africa is the land like we do, or if you believe over in the Middle East is the land, regardless, you coming here, starting in the continent, the enemy is upset, because the closer you get back, the closer he is to getting thrown in the pit. And so he does not want you here, and he's going to throw everything at you. He's going to try to hit you with an uppercut. He's going to try to hit you with a haymaker, a double backflip kick, all that at one time, to get you to run back to the U.S., to get you to run back to where the system is designed to control you. He can't control you here. Why? Because it's hard to have a regular 9-to-5 over here. And it's not rush like what we're used to in the U.S. So you have more time to spend with the Most High. You have more time for fasting, more time for praying, more time for seeking his face. So that means if you're doing those things, you're growing closer to the Most High, and you're getting stronger in him. And he's able, his Ruach is able to speak to you a lot easier, because your mind is not so cluttered with, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that.
Yeah. So, it's okay, but because you know what? It's like when you get over here, the Most High, he starts really dealing with you, and he starts elevating you spiritually. So you don't have to worry. Just like I say, you start, if you don't war in the spirit now, start warring in the spirit. Get you some warfare scriptures. Start learning how to do your spiritual warfare over in the States. And when you get here, the Most High is going to elevate that fight in you, that fighter in you. And so it's cool. Let them do what they're going to do. And if you have to fight, you just have to fight. Someone said, can we feel demonic presence? It depends on the area. Now, there is an area that we have been to before, and we didn't know this, but we walked by this restaurant, and we were on our way walking to a private beach. And when we walked by the restaurant, we got an uneasy feeling. We just like, in somebody's house we was at, we had uneasy feelings. Like, I don't know what is going on. And so, lo and behold, we found out that the first person was like, we went in this restaurant. This restaurant got a giant Buddha, like in the middle of the restaurant.
Like a 6 foot tall.
6 foot giant Buddha. And so we're
in
like,
Africa.
That's why we was feeling that when we was walking by that place. We had no idea. And so the house is close to that place as well. So in the area, you can feel the demonic activity. Also, if there's people who are into witchcraft in that area, you will feel demonic presence, and you have to start doing warfare. And once you do your warfare and you start engaging those demonic spirits, you ain't got to worry, because they'll leave you alone. So
because most of them, they've been doing their thing with that witchcraft for so long, they never had a righteous spirit combat them. So when they try to come up against you, they like, whoa, wait a minute, this is something a little different, because they used to have it their way, but when they get something that's rebuking them, they don't know how to respond.
Right. So we've been gone for a long time, y'all, our nation, and it's very important for our nation to come back. And I'm gonna tell y'all something that I was saying to my husband. I said, I miss my tribe. I love Africa. I said, but I miss my tribe, because our tribe, we're Judah, and every tribe acts a certain way. Every tribe, we have our quirkiness about us, a certain way that we talk, we walk, we live, certain things. I love the people here, but I miss my tribe. So I'm ready.
So come on home, Judah.
For
come
y'all
on
to
home.
come, because Isha G misses y'all so much. And I'm like, I just miss seeing my people all the time. I miss, sometimes I don't like everybody's ways, but I miss my people, So yeah, that's how it is over here. But we waiting for y'all. And if y'all have any more questions or whatever, like we say, email us.
Yeah, it's in the description box of this video, steppingstonesthehome@gmail.com. And like we said when we were on Minister Yakova's show, we are no longer charging for consultations. If you have questions, directly email us at thesteppingstonesthehome@gmail and just send us a, hey, I got some questions, and then we can set up a meeting with you. All right.
Before you leave, someone says, how's the dry bones going and growing? So dry bones right now, I was saying earlier, and I said earlier, we're trying to put our heads together to figure out how we can start businesses and NGOs to help our people get here. And also with these businesses to employ the locals, so we can start getting the government's attention in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's where the Dry Bones Project is. And we're trying to figure out who can we talk to, who can we meet with that is a part of the government where we can plead our cause and just like what measures can we take? Sierra Leone does the DNA thing. What can we do so that this transition for African Americans wanting to come back, for it to be easier for us? So that's where the Dry Bones Project, where we're focused right now. We're still pushing for business and getting things going. Y'all know Sister Siobhan and Tim, they have the land project going, and we still pushing for the parks, y'all. Just pray for us. So that's where we are with Dry Bones Project.
Yeah.
Our biggest focus right now is our people getting here and having a place for our people to go when they get here, and providing resources in other areas for our people. So for my husband and I, we've been doing a lot of researching other countries outside of Tanzania to give information to people who want to go somewhere else, and trying to form contacts with other people in other countries here. So matter of fact, if it's anybody in the chat, or if it's anybody y'all know that's in one of the other African countries, y'all connect us with them, because we're trying to make connections so that we can connect the diaspora to the right people so that they can have an easier transition, right? So those are the things the Dry Bone Project is doing. As far as growing, we have one other person that has now joined in with us to help us with the things that we're trying to get going. Other than that, it's people here, but a lot of people now have just started kind of doing their own thing. So it's just the ones that were a part of the project and the one other person that has joined. But I pray that in the future that there'll be more people, even before y'all get here, to join in with us, to put our heads together and see how we can get things going, so it's an easier transition for everybody who wants to come. Even for the ones who don't have the finances to come, how we can financially help people get out if they want to leave now. I do believe it's going to be a mass exodus, y'all. I do. But for ones who want to leave now, the Most High say He's going to gather us from everywhere. So I don't see an issue if people want to leave right now.
Would you consider other countries to live, or is Tanzania good enough? So for right now, Tanzania is where we're at for right now. Are we moving to another country? I can't say that we are. This is where the Most High has us. For right now, we do want to visit other countries once the Most High releases us to do so.
But as far as moving completely, So I have a builder's heart, y'all, and so I see the need here in Tanzania. But it's a need in a lot of the other countries. I am where the Most High wants me to be, and that's basically what it boils down to. Wherever the Most High wants me to be, wherever He tells me to go, that's where I go. If He tells me to stay, that's where I stay. So I like Tanzania. You know, it's a lot that I want to do in this country. It's a lot that I want to do to help the people. But if the Most High told me to go somewhere else, I would go. I'm not tied down to any area.
Yeah, I mean, where we are right now, simply put, wherever the Most High tells us to go, that's where we're going. You know, we don't want to be like the young rich ruler, where you say you're doing everything, but then when he tells you to get rid of everything and follow me, we're like, well, you know, I'm stuck. You know, I really like Tanzania. And you can look. I'm gonna be honest. I liked Atlanta. I did, but the Most High said go to Africa, so we're in Africa. You know, so wherever he tells us to go, that's where we're going.
Right. So if you're asking, could we make Tanzania home? I could definitely make Tanzania my permanent residence, my permanent home. I really like Tanzania. It's beautiful here. I want some things to change when it comes down to the government and when it comes down to higher officials and everything like that. But I like Tanzania, and I like that it's a place that's not built up already where I don't have the opportunity to help. I like to help people. I like for people to enjoy their lives. I like for people to have the things that they need to have. I like for people to ask me questions and I get a chance to tell them about the Most High. I love the life that the Most High has us living here in Tanzania. You know, I may not be rich, but I love being able to give what I have.
Yeah, like recently, this past month, there was a young lady who was working with us, and she was Catholic, and we just began to share the true gospel with her. And she's Bantu, you know, and she renounced Catholicism, and we actually did a baptism here for her, you know, and she's been studying with us and just learning about the Most High, learning about His feast days, learning about His law, statutes, and commandments. And it's been beautiful, you know. So we love it.
It's things like that. I love for the Most High. Honestly, y'all, I'm not trying to be super follower of the Most High. I love for the Most High to get the glory. And so wherever He has me, that's where we're going to be. So that's why I'm not going to tie myself down to anywhere. When the Most High says settle, then I will settle in that one spot. But until then, I'm just like, Abraham, where do you want me to go? I'm going wherever you tell me to go.
I'm Abraham, you said.
Okay, he Abraham, whatever. So yes, that's where we are. But we love Tanzania. And we love the people here. You know. Yeah.
Hallelujah. But yeah, Zion Bound, just email us at steppingstones2home@gmail.com. The information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You will see it.
Yes. So, Asante, thank y'all, all of y'all, for being on here. I'm glad we could be able to help some of you. We're going to be, like we say, putting information about different countries on here. All the information we get, we're going to share it with y'all so that you're better equipped with this transition and you're better equipped to help each other to transition as well. So, as they say, in our church days, if all hearts and minds are clear, we are going to get on out of here. And we love y'all. And we are looking so forward to our tribe coming home.
Yes. All right, family. Y'all take care.